With the arm complete, we can now move on to the leg, and as I said, we can reuse some of the pieces that will speed this up a little bit. So let's just jump straight into it. We'll kind of start at the top of the leg and work our way down, I think. So we'll take this part here and duplicate it. So this is the shoulder. Oh, but before I do that, I need to just have a word with myself. I didn't rename this last time, so let's do that now. Okay, is that the duplicate that I just renamed? No, good. So now we'll duplicate it. So it's still called shoulder, but that's fine because we'll rename it to... What is this called? Okay, I think we'll call it L upper leg joint. Because it's not the upper leg and it's not the hips, so that's what we'll call it. If anybody knows anatomy, by all means tell me what that's actually called. So what we'll do now is we'll just kind of rotate this around so that it's pointing where we would expect it to. And then make sure that it kind of fits in its socket, which that's not a bad fit, to be fair. Yeah, that's not bad. I think we'll just move it in a little bit further. Yeah, that looks okay. Nice one. It mostly matches up with the concept art as well, so that'll be fine there. Next, what we'll do is take this part, and this needs to be duplicated as well, so Control and D, and then we'll move it down like so. We'll rotate it, and I'm just going to name it upper leg. And then we need to put this bad boy in place. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. And then if you'd not already guessed, we're going to take this part, which is the lower arm. So let's duplicate that, move it to where we want it, rotate it 90 degrees, make sure we name it, why is that called lower arm 3? I did something weird somewhere, I need to go back and check my renaming. But we'll call this lower leg, like that, and then we'll get this in place. And I probably do need to get in a little bit close here to make sure that that's lined up as well as it can be. In fact, what I'm going to do is to translate X. I think I'm going to copy it. There we go. And then we can see that that lines up. So I just copied and pasted that in to make sure that it would fit perfectly. There we go. So that's that part. And then we're going to take this part of the arm and we're going to fashion this into the leg piece. So the leg's got a little bit of detailing on, but that's not too difficult to add. So that's what comes next. So Control and D. And then we're going to move this here. We're going to rotate it by 90 degrees. We're going to call it lower leg 2. Hopefully that naming won't mess up. And then we just need to make some changes to this. So let's put it roughly in place. That's pretty nice. And then we can see that it's a little bit too thick at the moment. So we'll make it small, and then I'm just going to restore the height to it. I'm then going to go into edge mode, get that edge loop there. And with my crease tool, just harden that pretty much all the way. And then I need to get this kind of rotation on it here. So I'm going to go into vertex mode for that and select the vertices. And then with my rotate tool, I'm just going to do that. And then you can see that it also is a little bit smaller. So I'm going to scale it in as well. So that pretty much gives me the shape I want there. Then I'm going to go back into edge mode here. And I'm going to move this up a little bit. You can see that then the shape follows a bit better. And then back into vertex mode. I'll select all these at the bottom. I'm going to rotate those to match the shape again. And then maybe make it a bit wider. Yeah, that looks okay. So that's the beginning of our leg shape. We now need to add this little bit of detailing, which I'm going to call the shin pad. I don't really know what it is. I just thought it looked nice. So let's do that. To do that, we're going to go into object mode for now. We'll press 1. And it's going to be these 4 faces on the front that create this for us. So into face mode 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll then perform an extrusion on these, Control and E. And we're going to add a bit of an offset, not too much. And then we're going to extrude again. And thickness won't work this time because it kind of takes it out in funny directions that I don't want. So instead, I'm going to go to my move tool and just bring it forward by a bit. That's kind of nice, like that. Okay, so that gets us what we want, but I don't want this detailing all the way around. It stands out a bit too much. So we're going to rejoin it down at the bottom. These here. So if we go into vertex mode, there we go. And I'm going to go to mesh tools and I'm going to target weld that vertex onto that one onto that one, and that one onto that one. And then that'll help this detailing look really smart. So let's press 3 to see what we've got so far. Well, maybe I need to change my tool. Okay, so that actually looks okay as it is, but I want that detail to stand out a little bit more. So we're going to go into edge mode. I'll select that, but I don't want that one there. I'll select those and that one and this one here if it lets me. So we'll get those, and I want these here as well. We'll just crease them together because we want a similar sort of effect. So that's the selection we need. Let's get our crease tool, and then we're just going to crease this as far as we want it to. So I'm not going to crease it all the way because I think that stands out too much. We'll go for something like that, I think. Yeah, and then that detail stands out fairly nicely. So once we get a kind of plasticky looking material on there, that'll look pretty good. And so that leaves us one more piece to create, which is going to be unique. We're not going to copy anything from up here this time. It's going to be the foot. So let's get a cube. Let's put it roughly in the right place. We'll call it L_foot. That's a good name for it. And then into our orthographic views to get it roughly sized up. So it needs to be a little bit wider than that. And a little bit taller. That's a good start. How's it looking in this view? Not bad, but I think we need to bring it forward a bit and just make it a bit longer. Okay, that works pretty well, but to add extra detail, what we're going to need is some extra edge loops. So holding Control, and I'm going to hold Shift as well. That snaps where these can go, and it means I can get one in the center. So I'm going to put one, in fact, I probably want one there. And then on this one here, oh, press escape, I will want one that is in the center there. And that's going to help me to produce this shape, hopefully. So now I'm going to go into vertex mode and get these vertices here and bring them down. This one here needs to come down a little bit. This one here also could do with coming down, but not too much. That's okay there. And then we can see here, oh, we've got some changes that need to be made. So that's going to come down. That middle one can stay there. This one's going to come up and move in a little bit. Yeah, that looks not too bad. Let's press 3. Not bad. So we need to crease some edges now to get this to sort of hold its shape. I'm just going to move that up a little bit. And then these two together, I'll just bring forward a touch. And maybe these two here, I'll bring back just a tiny bit. Like that. So now I'm going to go into edge mode, and we're going to do the ones all the way around the front. Around the top, rather. So we'll get those. I'm going to press number 3 to see what my creasing is going to do. Go to Mesh Tools, Crease Tool, and then not quite crease all the way. That's pretty good. And then I'm going to repeat that on the bottom because I need the bottom to be flat. So I'm going to get all of those, and I probably want these as well to try and get it as flat as possible. So then we'll crease that all the way. Yep, that looks good. And that is our foot, I think. I think what I'll do is just bring that one there. In fact, I'm just going to have to move the whole shape down to do this. I want to round the top off a little bit more. So I'm going to get that edge there and that edge there and just bring those up ever so slightly. And then make sure that the overlap isn't too much between the foot and the lower leg. Yeah, that's pretty nice. So let's just go into vertex mode now and make any final changes. So I don't want it to be too tall. I think this vertex here can come back a bit because it's causing the shape not to look my favourite. Yeah, that'll do it. Right, back into object mode. We will leave all of the smoothing on for now. Okay, that does it for most of the tricky to model pieces. In the next step, what we will do is the finishing touches. So we'll smooth things, we will mirror them over, we'll add the antenna, get everything generally ready to go for UV mapping and texturing. So I'll see you in the next part. I'm able to continue making these videos thanks to the ongoing support of my amazing Patreon community. If you'd also like to support Game Dev Academy via Patreon, then check out the link in the description below. Thank you.